We're now looking at live pictures. President Obama arriving in San Juan, Puerto Rico. You may recognize some of the faces there. It's a brief 5-hour trip for the president. 2 over from the president. You see the singer and star Marc Anthony, who is actually there. The president giving a little wave. Marc Anthony in the sunglasses there, just 2 over from the president. It's a big deal for Puerto Rico. Obviously, the first official presidential visit in some 50 years or so. So there'll be a lot of important folks will be gathering with the president, as well as a little pomp and circumstance. It's an important trip for the president, not only to visit the island of Puerto Rico, the territory, but also for many Puerto Ricans, more than 4 million or so, who are on the U.S. mainland, who are a very important voting bloc for this president, those in Florida, New York, and in the Northeast and elsewhere. So the president making this critical stop to try to make sure that he secures the Hispanic vote, the Puerto Rican vote in the U.S. mainland. But a lot of excitement and anticipation around President Obama's trip to Puerto Rico. All right, Allison, thank you very much. Want to go directly to President Obama in Puerto Rico. He is making some brief remarks. Let's listen in.
And although my hair is a little grayer than during my first visit, I am glad to be able to keep that promise to the people of Puerto Rico. But this is only one part of my commitment to families here on the island. Because when I ran for president, I promised to include Puerto Rico, not just on my itinerary, but also in my vision of where our country needs to go. And I'm proud to say that we've kept that promise, too. First of all, we've addressed the question of political status. In March, a report from our Presidential Task Force on Puerto Rican status provided a meaningful way forward on this question so that the residents of the island can determine their own future. And when the people of Puerto Rico make a clear decision, my administration will stand by you. I also know that there are plenty of other issues that the island is facing. When President Kennedy was here, he addressed the relationship between Washington and San Juan. And he also spoke about tackling what he called the difficult problems of education and housing and employment. In that same spirit, we've been trying to make sure that every family on the island can find work and make a living and provide for their children. That's why our economic plan and our health care reform included help for Puerto Rico. That's why we're increasing access to broadband and investing in education. That's why we're helping to grow local tourism and health care and clean energy industries. We're giving Puerto Ricans the tools they need to build their own economic futures. And this is how it should be. Because every day, Boricuas help write the American story. Puerto Rican artists contribute to our culture. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed, but Marc Anthony decided to show up here today. Puerto Rican entrepreneurs create American jobs. Even in the NBA Finals, J.J. Barea inspired all of us with those drives to the hoop. That guy can play. Next time I'm down here, I'm going to have to, next time I'm here, I'm going to have to play some hoops. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge all the Puerto Rican men and women who serve in our country's uniform. Give it up for our veterans. Thank you. You know, one of those veterans is Juan Castillo. Juan fought in World War II, and he fought in the Korean War. Today, he's 2 months away from his 101st birthday. Juan's legacy is carried on by Puerto Ricans in Iraq and Afghanistan, men and women like Chief Master Sergeant Ramon Colon Lopez of the United States Air Force. In 2004, Ramon's team was going after a high-value target in Afghanistan. His helicopter was seriously damaged by hostile fire. In the thick of battle, he didn't know how large the force that he was up against, but he pressed on anyway, and his team killed or captured 12 enemy fighters. Because of his bravery, he was the first Hispanic American to be awarded the Air Force Combat Action Medal. And I tell this story because for decades, Puerto Ricans like Juan and Ramon have put themselves in harm's way for a simple reason. They want to protect the country that they love. Their willingness to serve, their willingness to sacrifice is as American as apple pie, or as arroz con gandules. The aspirations and the struggles on this island mirror those across America. So I know that today a lot of folks are asking some of the same questions here on the island as they're asking in Indiana or California or in Texas. How do I make sure my kids get the kind of education that they need? How can I put away a little money for retirement? How can I fill up my gas tank? How can I pay the bills? Everywhere I go, I see families facing challenges like these, but they're facing them with resolve and determination. You know, these problems didn't develop overnight here in Puerto Rico or anywhere else, but that means we're not going to solve them overnight, but day by day, step by step, we will solve them. We are going to be able to improve our education system here in Puerto Rico and all across America. We are making strides to improve our healthcare system here in Puerto Rico and all across America. We are going to put people back to work here in Puerto Rico and all across America. Maybe some of you remember that when I was here in 2008, I spoke in front of the Cuartel de Bahia, a site that had been home to so many chapters of Puerto Rican history. Today, Puerto Rican workers are writing the next chapter by turning the building into a model of energy efficiency. They're making HVAC systems more efficient. They're putting on a green roof. They're installing 720 photovoltaic panels. When they're done, it's estimated that the energy savings will be 57%. And Puerto Rico will have taken one more step towards creating a clean energy economy. Those are the kinds of steps it'll take for Puerto Rico to win the future and for America to win the future. That's what we do in this country. With each passing decade, with each new challenge, we reinvent ourselves. We find new ways to solve our problems. We push forward. And we do so in a way that gives every one of our people a shot at the dream that we all share. The dream that if you're willing to work hard and take responsibility, you can build a better life for your family. You can find a job that's secure, provides decent wages, provides for your children, provides for your retirement. That's what people are hoping for, and it's not too much to ask. Puerto Rico, I don't need to tell you that we're not there yet. We're not where we need to be. But in these challenging times, people on this island don't quit. We don't turn back. People in America don't quit. We don't turn back. We place our bets on entrepreneurs and on workers and on our families. We understand that there's strength in our diversity. We renew the American dream. We have done it before. We will do it again. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Thank you.
President Obama there in San Juan, Puerto Rico, a historic visit by the president. He had promised when he was campaigning there a couple of years ago that he would return as president, and he fulfilled his promise. He started off his speech saying, "Buenos dias, it's great to be in Puerto Rico." He was accompanied by the governor of Puerto Rico, the mayor of San Juan, as well as Mark Anthony, the singer and actor. A lot of excitement around the president's trip. He also stressed the importance of moving the economy forward, leaving it up to the Puerto Ricans to decide their own future and fate regarding their status, whether or not they would fight for statehood, but also the importance of the economy there, not just at the island of Puerto Rico, but mainland, U.S. mainland, where there are more than 4 million Puerto Ricans who are voting and will be voting, and the president clearly trying to win them over in some of those key states. We're talking about New York as well as Florida. Historic trip by President Obama there in Puerto Rico. Also, another story that is just developing. It is breaking here. Someone else throwing their ring into the hat here.